can impose a sentence that does take into account acquitted conduct. So he wasn't convicted of beating Cassie, but the court can take that into consideration when he fashions a remedy in this case, and he looks at the whole person. So the prosecution's asking for 135. The defense is asking for 14. You want my prediction? I'm not going to give it to you.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your very own tongue-tied, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Today we are reacting to the Diddy sentencing. It's tomorrow, so I'm going to make a prediction. My prediction, your addiction is your affliction. Before we get to this prediction, and I'm going to go through the guidelines with you here, this episode is brought to you by AskALawyer.com. If you're sitting in a metropolitan jail cell in New York City and you think, God, I should have called AskALawyer.com before I decided to have people lathered up in all kinds of baby oil, well, you would have done yourself a service. For $49, you could have gotten advice. Don't do that, Mr. Diddy. So you should have gotten a hold of AskALawyer.com. AskALawyer.com is an effective way to either help you with a case if you're doing your own legal research, or get you on the way to help you figure out what you should be doing. If you're somebody suing you, or you want to sue somebody else, they'll get you where you need to go. You get a living, breathing lawyer for $49. You can't beat that. That's a really good deal. Plus, if you're doing your own legal research, they've got an AI component that's trained in all the 50 states. So for $49, you can get to where you need to go. AskALawyer.com. Okay, so I believe Mr. Diddy was charged with or convicted of 2 counts of the Mann Act. The Mann Act is transporting someone across state lines for sexual purposes, commercial sexual purposes, in other words, prostitution. Now, normally, this is not that big a deal, because if you look at the guidelines, if it involves sex trafficking, it's a level 34. We're going to show you the grid here in a second. But if it's not sex trafficking, it's a level 14. So you start out with 0 criminal. Let's say Mr. Wonderful has 0 criminal history, which I assume he probably does. So that means you're on the 1. So you have criminal history category 1, so 0 or 1. And you go to 14 on the side, the offense severity level. That's 15 to 21 months. Now, you go through the specific offense characteristics, and there's different. If the offense involved more than one victim, Chapter 3 would apply. If subsection A2 applies, then the offense involved fraud or coercion increased by 4 levels. So if the judge believes that, whether it was Cassie or somebody else, was subject to some form of coercion, and there's evidence that they were, then you increase it by 4 levels. And if you increase by 4 levels, that brings you up to 18. So that gives you 27 to 33 months. Doesn't seem like a long sentence, does it? Well, just recently, Diddy's lawyers filed a last-ditch effort to throw out the case or have a new trial. This is what's happened here. The Judge Arun Subramanian rejected Diddy Combs' request for a new trial and the rapper's demand for an acquittal days before his scheduled sentencing. Subramanian said that the prosecution provided overwhelming evidence of Diddy's guilt on the charges of transportation to engage in prostitution. The one thing that always confused me is, why didn't they charge him with a drug conspiracy? I mean, there's ample evidence of drug use throughout the whole thing. It wouldn't take that much to convict him of a drug conspiracy, and the guidelines would be much higher, and there'd be mandatory minimums. There's no mandatory minimum here. That by itself might be enough to dispose of Combs' challenge, but the other factors don't do much to help Combs either. The rapper's legal team argued that the sex trafficking and racketeering evidence could have prejudiced the jury. Judge Subramanian also rejected the spillover prejudice argument, pointing to this split verdict. I mean, here's the thing. It was no question in anybody's mind that he hired hookers to come in, male or otherwise. Who wants to watch somebody screw their partner, honestly? I mean, sex is supposed to be loving. It's supposed to be caring. It's supposed to be, oh my God, that was just so wonderful. Come here and hold me, baby. I mean, that's what, not this, display of somebody banging your partner. Ugh. God, I just want to take your brain out and scrub it, don't you? After hearing all this stuff. It weighs heavily that the jury declined to convict him on any of the counts related to that conduct, Subramanian wrote. Had the prejudice indeed been so great, one would expect the jury to convict on the most relevant counts before it could spill over to infect the others. In other words, it didn't affect the other counts. A jury convicted Diddy on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution on July 2nd. That I'll Be Missing You rapper was acquitted of the most serious charges, the sex trafficking and the racketeering charges. Diddy could spend a maximum of 20 years behind bars. That'll never happen. 10 years for each count. That's the statutory maximum. That won't happen. The prosecutor recommended 135 months for his sentencing. 135 months. Now, I'm not entirely sure. I don't have all the sentencing factors, but you could double this up. So if we have 18, 27, or 33 months, and you double it up for a second count, that means the guidelines could be as high as 75 months. He's already spent a year in, right? This is the other thing that the prosecution said. Incredibly, while the defendant conceded his acts of violence and abuse throughout the trial, he now argues that the victims should shoulder the blame. So in other words, I haven't seen what the defense has filed for their. So here's what happens. You get convicted of it, whether you plead or you have a trial and convicted. You have what's called a pre-sentence report that's created by probation. So they meet with you, and in all likelihood, they didn't talk with Diddy about the facts, but they go through his background. They go through his family, his finances. They go through his criminal history and his social history and medical and mental history, okay? They go through all this stuff. Then they also go through the facts of the case, and they create a report for the judge. And then what the judge does is, well, first of all, they send that to the parties first, and then the parties look at it and say, can we object to this, or this? And they're going to object to all the inclusion of anything that was acquitted. However, the judge can take into consideration acquitted conduct. So just so you know, that is something that the judge can take into consideration. That's why this is not your typical Mann Act kind of case. There's so much conduct here. So, I mean, even if you don't believe it was sex trafficking or if it wasn't racketeering, there's still so much conduct there, right? And if the judge believes that there's any kind of coercion at all, then they can add that 4-point enhancement. And if you multiply that by 2 because there's a second count, now you're looking at a significant prison sentence. The prosecution's asking for 135 months. The defense is asking for acquittal of all the charges and a new trial at the very least. And then they're asking for him to be released. Let's see, what does the defense say? Diddy's team proposed a 14-month sentence ahead of the October 3rd hearing for federal charges of transportation, in a sense, time served. He's already spent 13 months behind bars. Combs' lawyers claim the musician had been sufficiently punished for his crimes. I'm going to give you my prediction here. Combs has suffered physically and mentally, and continued incarceration serves no positive goal. Courts do not simply punish, but must restore and rehabilitate with a goal to returning the convicted person to their community as soon as practicable. The sentencing memorandum obtained by Fox News Digital stated, upon release, Mr. Combs fully intends to abide by every order of this court, to renew and repair relationships that have been damaged in a healthy, positive, and lawful manner without baby oil. Or it doesn't say the baby oil comment. After embarking on his journey, Mr. Combs will devote attention to his family and community and to creating new initiatives and opportunities for others. And then they've got a picture of him here in a fucking towel in the hallway. Oh, A. So what happens next? So the defense and the government, they get the pre-sentence report. They file objections, like, for example, on the inclusion of other crimes or other victims, if they're more than one victim, they can object to that enhancement. You've got one side asking for 130, and then what happens after you get those objections filed? Then you get the final report, and then each side files their sentencing memorandum. And it basically gives you their position. And now we have the defense asking for 14 months, essentially time served, and that the state or the government is asking for 135 months. Big gap there, right? So the other thing that happens is you get all these letters of support. There was a pastor that, wrote a letter. I'm not going to read you the letter, but he wrote a letter. And then you got Gina's last word. I felt pressured to feel like a victim. I told them I was not, but they insisted I was. I understand they concluded that I had been sex trafficked and involved in forced prostitution. I did not agree. Some of that might sway the day, but here's the other thing. It's important behavior no matter what. And Cassie Ventura, she'll submit a victim impact. I still have nightmares and flashbacks on a regular, everyday basis, and continue to require psychological care to cope with my past. My worries that Sean Combs or his associates will come after me and my family is a reality. I have, in fact, moved from my family out of the New York area, and I'm keeping him private and quiet as I possibly can because I am so scared that if he walks free, his first actions will be to swift retribution towards me and others who spoke up about his abuse at trial. Cassie, I'm sure, will give that letter to the court, and the court's going to take that into consideration. The court sees his abuse. So the court's not confined to just the simple act of hiring a prostitute, and the court can look at the whole picture and say, this is what I think needs to happen. Now, the guidelines are not mandatory. They're advisory. So the judge, as long as he's reasonable and there's a logical conclusion flowing from his decision, there's a lot of latitude that the court can, have when imposing a sentence. And the court can impose a sentence that does take into account acquitted conduct. So he wasn't convicted of beating Cassie, but the court can take that into consideration when he fashions a remedy in this case, and he looks at the whole person. So the prosecution's asking for 135. The defense is asking for 14. You want my prediction? I'm not going to give it to you. No, I'm just joking. It's hard to say, because a guideline sentence could be somewhere in the 56 to 63 months. And I think that's where the sentence is going to come down. Somewhere in the 56 to 63 months. If he whacks him on the high end of things, this was clearly just absolutely egregious conduct, no matter how you slice it. Even if it wasn't. See, the thing about it is it didn't have to be sex trafficking or racketeering for it to be a bad case. If you look at just the hiring and making her do this, and I know there was testimony and text messages from her saying, I'm looking forward to the freak off. But she explained that. She explained that she felt trapped and forced to say what she needed to say in order to get on. So I think you're going to see somewhere 56 to 63 months, somewhere in there, maybe even upwards of 70 months. But I think that's about where this case is going to fall. We'll see, because it's tomorrow. And hopefully Robert and our team will put this up tonight. So that's my prediction. Somewhere between 56 and 63 months, somewhere around there, maybe even upwards of 70 months. And now, if he whacks him harder than that, one could argue it might be unreasonable. But if the judge just gives him a guideline sentence at the top of the guidelines, it's pretty much unappealable. Certainly the whole conviction is appealable, and the sentence will be, appealable, and they'll appeal this. But the judge will be protected if he's sentenced on the high end of the range. So, but regardless of what sentence he gets, if he's in custody, he gets the credit for every day that he's in custody. And so I think it's right around 13 months or something like that, a little over a year. We'll see. We'll see you next time here at Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon. Help Nick out of his box. Go to clrbrucerivers.com for all the merch, and go to Facebook, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal. Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer, which means I actually go to trial. I'm a trial lawyer. I try criminal cases, and that's what I do. Today we're reacting to The Legend of Jeff, another JCS video. Really like the JCS videos. So I haven't watched this, so this is going to be an initial reaction. So we've had a lot of requests for this, and we'd like to honor those requests. If you're on Patreon, go ahead and we try to get to those first. So without further ado, here's The Legend of Jeff. So you can see right away he's in a hospital gown. It looks like he's in an interrogation room with handcuffs on and no shoes.
Am I under arrest?
For now.
I'm under arrest?
Yeah, I'll explain everything, but before I explain myself to you, before we talk to each other, I need to read your rights, okay?
What am I under arrest for?
Immediately, if you're under arrest and you have in custody interrogation, they have to read you your Miranda warning. Meaning you have a right to a lawyer, that kind of thing.
For?
Well, like I said, I need to read your rights first. Obviously, the charge is robbery, okay? Yeah, I'll explain everything.
I'm under arrest for robbery?
You are, but let me read your rights real quick, okay? And then I'll explain it all to you. Is that okay? Let me do that real fast? All right, Jeff. Can you read with me? Just read in your head, okay? Before we ask you any questions, you must understand what your rights are. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Does that make sense? You probably...
So they fast forwarded there, but if he asks for a lawyer at this point, all questioning must cease.
Probably heard these before, haven't you? Does that make sense? Do you understand your rights? Do you understand your rights, Jeff? Yes or no? Do you understand? Do you understand what I read you? Do you comprehend what I read you?
So he's not saying anything so far.
Jeff, I'm just here to talk to you and figure out what happened and move you on out of here, at least some of it. So do you understand the rights I read to you?
If you got something that says you didn't do this robbery, this is your chance to talk to us.
Okay, good cop.
No, usually I'm the prick.
Usually I'm the prick. I somehow believe that guy.
You look like the prick.
This is Jeff. Jeff is a heroin addict and has been for the last 14 years. He is 6'5", weighs 153 pounds, and has now found himself in the unfortunate circumstance of being charged with armed robbery. This is in the state of Georgia, so if found guilty, they will render him the minimum term of 10 years without parole, up to the maximum term of life in prison. Jeff has been through the system multiple times over, and he will know that if indeed found guilty, his sentence will be considerably longer than the minimum 10 years due to his previous convictions.
I can't tell you how many cases we get where people are get involved in very serious criminal activity from drugs, and it just totally related to drugs.
Jeff, do you understand your rights? Yes or no? I'm not asking if you want to talk to me at this point. I just want to know, do you understand what I read to you?
So am I under arrest?
Yes, you're under arrest.
Get me back to the cell. I don't talk to you motherfuckers.
Okay, fair enough.
You want a Coke?
So he just declined to talk to them. Essentially, he invoked his right to remain silent. I don't talk to you motherfuckers. So they should bring him to his cell. But once he invokes his rights, they can't then reinitiate interrogation. But he's been sitting there for 2.5 hours. And so this would look at as reinitiating interrogation. And I would think it would be unconstitutional.
You gonna be able to pop it open, or you need me to?
Jeff has become somewhat of a cult figure in the domain of interrogation footage. His recognition seems to have grown through his own popularity, as opposed to the notoriety of his crimes, like most others. Conveying the exact reasoning behind this can be tricky, as the interest in this character will no doubt vary by the individual. Yet we've found the most collective reason can be explained through a single pop culture reference: the anti-hero. While the concept is timeless, the actual term was created through the realm of modern cinema. There's a diverse number of characters passing through the decades that fit the criteria. Yet perhaps the most textbook example could be the protagonist from the 2003 feature Bad Santa, a middle-aged man simply known as Willie. This is a character that lies, cheats, steals, swears at children, drinks an inconceivable amount of alcohol, and is generally extremely unpleasant to every single person he comes across.
Look who's here, Jimmy. It's Santa.
Fucking great.
Let's tell what you want.
Fucking great.
I'm on my fucking lunch break, okay?
On paper, this is an extremely unlikable individual, yet for some
do like
reason,
this
we
movie,
root for him while following his story. Anti-heroes are flawed, as are we. Their moral complexity mirrors our own, and just like us, they are learning and growing as they move along the path of life. Their mistakes make us think of our mistakes, and perhaps the reason we root for their redemption is the reflection of ourselves rooting for our own. So you might be curious about the contrast between the anti-hero and the villain. One we embrace and relate to, while the other we despise and detach from. Both are driven by selfish motivations, yet our emotional response differs between them. The reason for this, while not necessarily obvious, is a relatively simple formula. The anti-hero must have a glimmer of humanity alongside a noticeable vulnerability. This is what allows the viewer to truly connect with the character. It allows us to forgive them when they are unethical, but admire them when they are noble. It allows them to be angry, cowardly, and greedy, but also cheerful, brave, and empathetic.
You know, to be honest with you, that's one of the things that I think makes me a good lawyer, is that I can kind of see part of myself in my clients, and by doing that, I can empathize with their situation, and it makes me try harder, I suppose. Some you can see yourself in more than others.
Who the fuck is Thurman? Is that you? Is your name Thurman?
Yeah,
Thurman Merman?
yeah.
Jesus.
With relation to Jeff, while many of us can't relate to the feeling of being addicted to heroin for well over a decade, we can certainly understand the feeling of sadness. While we may not be able to put ourselves directly in the shoes of an addict, we can somewhat relate to the adversity that comes with it, not to mention the incredible magnitude of the situation he is going through in this video.
Now, being locked in a room for 2.5 hours, ostensibly without anything to drink, and probably without going to the bathroom, all of a sudden you're much more vulnerable than when you walked into that room.
How he responds to this very moment is quite literally the precursor to his entire future. He is at a crossroad moment in life, where on one side is the possibility of hope, and on the other side is the outright guarantee of despair. The long-term path he goes down will be the consequences of the short-term choices he makes, all of which have to be judged and decided on while going through the early stages of heroin withdrawal.
I need method.
And heroin withdrawal in prison is fucking awful. And they don't give you anything for it. It can be, sometimes it can be fatal, but not very often. It's just really, 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 you get sick really bad, and it's not fun.
No.
You need methadone?
And mind you, he already told you, I don't want to talk to you. Now they've reinitiated with the coke.
Methadone?
Yeah, you get me that methadone.
I don't have any. Do you have medication for it, or a prescription for it?
So the fact that he's asking for methadone tells you he's very vulnerable.
What do you need methadone for?
Because I'm a fucking junkie, and you guys, I can't get no methadone. I'm gonna go through withdrawal here in a minute.
Where do you usually get your methadone from?
I don't
He told him I didn't want to talk to you, and now they're talking to him.
I get heroin.
How long you been using heroin?
Long time, buddy. What are you trying to talk to me about here?
Talk to you about what happened last night. Look, here's the deal. Either you're in a bad set of circumstances, or you went and committed an armed robbery last night.
Yeah,
All right?
I'm in a shitty, wrong place at wrong time, obviously. I didn't commit no fucking armed robbery.
All right, then let's talk about this. Let's
I
not
don't have
keep
nothing.
up
I
the
don't talk
act.
to the police, man.
I don't talk to the police, man. This is the second time he's invoked his right.
I think it's in your best interest to. man.
How? I don't talk to
you're
the
sitting
police.
Here, okay.
I've been through the system, buddy. I know how
I know
it
you
works.
have. I know you have.
You're
Jeff.
not my friend.
I'm not your friend.
You're trying to fucking get me, or you're
No,
trying
I'm not trying to get
all
you.
you're trying to get is some fucking stupid ass fucking confession, and you're not gonna get one.
Jeff, I'm not going to get a confession out of you for nothing.
Exactly, because I
And
didn't
I'm
do
not
nothing.
trying to get a confession out of you.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, I didn't commit no armed robbery, and y'all ain't got no fucking evidence saying I did. Let me go. All you did is find me sitting in my buddy's house because my fucking buddy's dog's going ape shit. I go outside, there are cops everywhere, and they spotlight me. They say, "Come here." I say, "What's up?" They search me. They ain't find
Hang on.
nothing. What's
Let
up?
me read this.
No,
Yes.
because I'm not gonna sign it.
You don't have to sign it. But let me read it for you. Okay?
I'm not signing nothing.
You don't have to sign it. Let me read it.
You already read it to me earlier.
I know we did, but I'm going to read it to you again.
That's reinitiating interrogation when he has said, I don't want to talk to you. If this is an inculpatory statement, it should be thrown out hands down.
Thanks for the code.
You're welcome. Before we ask any questions, you must understand what your rights are.
And here we have our glimmer of humanity. Jeff extends his gratitude in recognition of the small favor the detective has done for him. There is no return benefit for Jeff giving thanks to his adversary, meaning there is an element of selflessness and grace in the act. There may be considerable emphasis on the glimmer of humanity here, but all we need is a glimmer to know that it's at least in there.
You have the right to remain silent. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one, a lawyer will be provided for you.
Here's the thing. You can't cure the reinterrogation aspect of this by rereading the Miranda rights.
If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you will still have the right. You also have the right to stop answering at any time until you talk to a lawyer. Do you understand the rights I've explained to you?
He's dehydrated. He's going through withdrawal. The guy brings him a Coke. And guess what? Oh, if you talk to us, we'll bring you a fucking meal. I mean, that's kind of... I've seen this happen before.
No.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what happened last night. Plain and simple. Your side of the story.
I'm not talking to you.
I'm not talking to you. It should end right there. I want a lawyer. I want a lawyer. You get stopped by the cops. I don't care where the fuck you are. I want a lawyer. You don't talk to the cops. Period. First time anybody hears your story, if you're charged with a crime, should be on the stand.
All right. This is what I don't understand. I know, but this is what I don't understand, Jeff.
This is what I don't understand. No. Get up and fucking walk away. He should not be talking at all. This is more reinitiated. I want a lawyer. It's a hard rule. It should be just done.
We're sitting there talking just like you were ready to sit here and tell me what happened last night, and then all of a sudden I read that to you and you just, screw it, I ain't talking to you. I want a lawyer. I don't understand that. What changed?
I don't understand that. I'm a fucking cop. I don't understand that. Fuck you. Get out of my fucking face. I wanted a lawyer. It should be done. He cannot. This is textbook. 100%. And if he could say I shot the queen, and they'd have to throw it out.
Because I told you I already told you what happened.
You didn't.
How didn't I?
You didn't tell me what happened last night.
How didn't I just tell you what?
But now you've handcuffed me, and I can't talk to you because you asked for an attorney.
He even knows what the law is, but he's still continuing to try to fucking talk to him.
So, okay, that's fine. But I will tell you
Close
right
your
now, you're
notebook,
still on a
leave
hold
the
for
room.
robbery.
I know. I don't know why I need a fucking lawyer because obviously I didn't do nothing. And obviously you guys know I didn't do nothing because I've been arrested for the same bullshit before and you guys don't interview me this much. So, wham bam, thank you for the coke. Put me back in the cell.
5 hours later.
What's that?
Just look at it. All right. I know we did this twice, but I gotta do it again.
What the hell is he doing? He's reinitiating interrogation for the third time.
Again, every time, okay? If I ask you any questions, I gotta read your rights. You understand that? Okay. Go ahead and sign there. Let me take your F off.
Now he's in here 5.5 hours later. 5.5 hours. A heroin addict and bullshit.
Look, you're not signing nothing.
Okay, you don't have to sign anything. You understand your rights, though, right? Yeah. That's all I need. A verbal yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now he's being a nice guy. Oh, I'm going to take the cuffs off. Oh, yeah.
What's this coke gonna be here? Or is that just a fairy tale?
It's coming. He's getting it right now. We'll be here in about 2 minutes. Just to watch the soda machine. good.
Mm-hmm.
See, now he's sitting in there and he's basically waiting for some kind of spontaneous utterance. So in other words, he's trying to, if Jeff says something, he says, well, you know, I just was sitting there watching the prisoner, and all of a sudden he made this statement voluntarily to me, so that reinitiated, you know, the conversation, but he started the conversation. Bullshit. You're supposed to just leave.
I have enough evidence
Like what?
of the armed robbery, okay?
If you have enough evidence, what the fuck are you doing there talking to me anyway?
But, you know, if you're saying you didn't do it, you need to give me your side of the story.
I didn't do it.
Okay, well, give me your side of the story. You got to, I mean, convince me.
This is totally 100% illegal. Totally illegal.
Because I got a lot of evidence. I got a lot of physical evidence.
If you have so much physical evidence, you have so much evidence that, what do you give a shit what he has to say for then?
Well, like what? Name the physical.
Why should I tell you that? I mean, you haven't been helpful to me at all.
You don't, because I don't believe that you got any evidence.
And you can tell he's uncomfortable. You can tell he's withdrawing. I mean, we're 7 hours into this. This is ridiculous.
There's only a couple pieces of evidence I'm missing.
Name them.
What's that?
Name them.
Well, why do I need to do that? You haven't helped me out at all. You give me a little bit, I give you a little bit. We go back and forth.
Total illegal.
I give you one of my pieces of evidence, and I give me a little something.
You know anything I say here can and will be used against me.
Sure, but anything you say here, I can also tell your parole officer that you helped me out.
That doesn't mean dick. There's
It
no
doesn't
way.
mean dick.
I didn't do it. There's no way.
How drunk were you? Were you drunk?
No, I was pretty sober.
So you're in your right mind. You remember everything about the night, right? So you couldn't have done something not remembered. You couldn't have gone and robbed the place and not remembered?
Fuck, no.
Okay, so you would remember if you robbed the place. Yeah. So I'm willing to go to the prosecutor, I'm willing to go to the parole officer and say, this guy's a good guy, he helped me out.
Hey.
I know you don't want to go back to jail, right? Back to prison?
Well, fuck. It looks like I am if and you're going to charge me with some bogus shit. You guys don't, I mean, what do you got, really? That I was at a buddy's house and I happened to come outside because you guys were fucking swarming the area and they
Which door did you come out of?
I came out of the front door. You know what? I'm not saying myself, man. I'm done, man. Fuck this. The only reason I came up here is to get a fucking Coke.
Okay. You're not getting out.
Oh, no. I can't finish it?
You can finish it. Make it quick. I got things to do.
Butterfinger, you promised.
I didn't promise you that. I said we'd see what happens. All right? Like I said, you haven't helped me out at all.
Where's that Butterfinger? You see, I had a case one time where my client had been strung out for days on meth and whatever. And same kind of situation. And they promised him Kentucky Fried Chicken because he hadn't eaten in quite a while. And but they wouldn't give him the Kentucky Fried Chicken until he gave a statement. Well, I got the statement thrown out because the Kentucky Fried Chicken was basically coercion.
Why should I help you out? I got you a soda. That's good enough.
Jeff was released from custody just under 12 hours later. And that takes us to the final and perhaps the most important component of an anti-hero, the conclusion, which unfortunately in this particular case is unknown. The final outcome of this story will vary depending on the source, some with a happy ending, others a cautionary tale. One legend has it that Jeff got clean soon after his release and now works in the corporate marketing team for Coca-Cola, while another states that he was picked up the day after for the same charge and is now facing down a 15-year sentence in Georgia State Prison. If we go by the Hollywood formula, an anti-hero's actions throughout the course of their life are so drastic and single-minded that they only ever lead to salvation or destruction, and their final decision is always dictated by what they have learned and how they have changed throughout the course of the story. The paradox here is that we don't even need the theme of imprisonment to mold the outcome of this particular story, as the theme of addiction is more than enough. Whether he goes to prison or not, Jeff will either manage to get clean and rebuild his life, or he won't. He is headed for salvation or destruction no matter what. And that single concept can perhaps define Jeff as an anti-hero. His outcome is a mystery, but either way it goes, it most certainly conforms to the anti-hero's ending.
You know, that's a good point, but I don't think it always ends that way. It always ends in either absolution or destruction. I've seen, first of all, Jeff has been using heroin for fucking 14 years, however long, a long time, and so he's been able to function in that realm. Sometimes, and usually when it's something dramatic, an addict or somebody who's into serious drugs, their life will change because of some significant event. For example, I had a case recently where my client gave his cousin, his best friend, some fentanyl, and he died. And he was just devastated over it. And they charged him with third-degree murder. And I got him into treatment, and he wound up getting, sober and didn't go to prison as a result. In looking at Jeff, I doubt that he's a senior VP for Coca-Cola. But sometimes law enforcement involvement can actually be an impetus for change. I like when that happens because it gets somebody off of drugs, it gets somebody off the street, and sometimes it takes a wake-up call for that to happen. And I took something completely different away from this than I think was intended by JCS. I looked at it more from a criminal law standpoint, and he didn't say anything really inculpatory in his interrogation, but it just pisses me off when I see these cops flagrantly violating the law, and which is what that cop did there many times. So this has been our reaction to The Legend of Jeff from JCS. So I implore you to go over to JCS's channel and see if you can pick that up and give him a little love as well, because we like his commentary, and I think he does a good job presenting these topics in criminal law. So I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Thanks for all the love and support that you've given us over the past year, and especially over the past month. And follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, spread the message, and if you're thinking about it, sign up for Patreon. We're doing some pretty good work there. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Hi, welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I am a board certified criminal defense lawyer. Now, this episode is our back to school episode. A lot of you young kids, older kids, stupid kids, smart kids, all you kids are going to school, right? We're back at school. COVID still is lingering out there, but we're back in person. And we're going to football games, we're dating, we're getting dissed by our friends, we're going to lunch, we're getting bullied, we're bullying, we're doing all kinds of stupid, fun, and crazy stuff, right? One of the dumbest things I've seen so far, and what is my motto? Stop self-snitching, right? Well, there's a trend going on, and it's mischievous licks on TikTok. Now, here's the thing. I love TikTok. I fucking love TikTok. I am a TikTok maniac. I watch TikTok like nobody's business. These things are dumber than shit. These are self-snitching, stupid things that people do. And, guess what? It isn't that hard to find out. When kids are in school, they know who's doing what, right? So, you put something on TikTok, oh, I know that's so-and-so. So let's just kind of get into this. And, so only first week of school, but get this mischievous lick. So putting your crimes online is fucking stupid. Oh, I stole a sign. Oh, it's probably a misdemeanor because it's probably not worth much, but look how funny I can be. I steal a caution on a wet sign. That isn't all that mischievous. Now we got some auto parts. See, okay, now look at that. You're in the gymnasium. You can see that gym floor. And see, one of his buddies or girlfriends or somebody will see that bracelet and the backpack and put 2 and 2 together. It isn't that hard. And who snitches on who more than other students? They're the worst at keeping any kind of fucking secret. What was that? I can't even see what that was. Hang on, let me go back here a little bit here. See, he's taking stuff out of his bag to show you what he stole. So, hang on, I'm gonna put my glasses on because us old fucks have to wear these sometimes. LG, let's see. Oh, and it's good. So you even know what high school it is. Lake Gibson High School. So, and here's the thing. If anything that they stole is over $500, it's a felony. It's just ridiculous. Oh, and they, just stealing just for the sake of stealing is ridiculous. Especially at this level, because he can get you expelled from your school. You think when you go to school, if you get in trouble, you might have a fair hearing. No, they're all kangaroo bullshit courts. School court is no court at all. They just do what they're going to do, and they don't have to have a reason, and see you later. So now we've got tablets, and that's a little more serious. So now we're talking felonies. And a very distinctive backpack, I might add. Oh, let's steal a microscope, because guess what? We're going to do science experiments at home. How fucking stupid. It's one thing to steal a laptop because, it has some value. You could sell it or whatever. It's still stupid, but you can understand it. What are you going to do with a fucking microscope? Bring it to the pawn shop and it's got its school ID underneath it? How fucking stupid. Come on. If you are listening to this and you're one of my people, because I got people, I hope you're one of them, don't be doing stupid shit like this. Absolutely diabolical lick. Fucking break. So fucking stupid. Oh, look at this backpack. Let's see what we got here. Look how cool this is. Oh, I got an exit sign. Holy shit, look at me. How fucking cool is that? Aren't I cool? Oh, look, I got somebody's fucking peg leg. No, that's just that is kind of funny, actually. That is kind of funny, but, I mean, come on. And you know what school it is, because you'll see some guy going like this. He won't have his peg leg. I mean... Oh, there we go. We got the ATM. Although I don't think that fit in his backpack. There we go. On the 3rd week of school, and just hit the most diabolical lick. Okay, now this is where it gets even dumber, because now you got the guy's face in the fucking thing. He's stealing a bus! He's stealing a fucking bus. Well, now that's major auto theft. That's called, let's take him to juvie, and he'll sit there for a week or two, and he'll get completely expelled from school. Y'all still doing these small licks. Look at me, I'm doing a big lick. You're a tough guy. Yep, and there's the cops. Yep, there's a drill. Who fucking cares? Oh, and then not only does he show you the drill, he shows you the street sign where he is. And his shoes and his pants. You can kind of tell who this kid is. It says principal ain't going home today. If you don't like your friends and you want to switch schools, doing a diabolical lick and getting fucking busted is probably the best way to get out of your school. Best lick ever. And he takes her hair. Give me a break. It's just dumb.
Second time getting arrested for hitting devious lips. We not gonna stop.
Second time getting arrested. Y'all motherfuckers really got me arrested over a TikTok. See, now, a lot of people ask me, can they really use their lyrics against them? Well, when they put themselves on video and they're holding a firearm and they can prove it's a firearm, they can use it. Well, when you put yourself on TikTok and they can prove it's you, it's the best evidence there is. And so not only do you video your lick, you video your time at the police station, because you ain't got nothing else better to do.
If you're on the streets, man, you in the... Hey, man, you already know who it is.
You're a high school janitor and hear this song down the hall.
Pretty boy music. If you're on the streets, man, you in the gutter, man, you got...
You have directly to the front office or fill out our see something, say something online on our website. For those who are participating, please know that when we do catch you, we will discipline you to the fullest extent and you will be arrested. And you will be responsible for any of the monetary damages that have been done. Again, this needs to stop.
So that's a frustrated principal or school official or whatever. And, and these people think it's really funny. And, in the moment, it might be really funny. In fact, it might be so fucking funny, a little pee comes out. But the problem is that you just fucked your school year. Because guess what? They ain't putting up with the bullshit, as they say. You're going to wind up getting kicked out of school, and you're going to have to go to some alternative school or a different school.
Because of the antics of a few, unfortunately, we have had to close the purple bathroom for the boys. That means that the blue bathroom and the green bathroom for boys are open for the rest of the day. However, because of the antics of a few, we don't have soap in any of the boys' restrooms in blue, green, or purple, nor do we have any more soap dispensers. So
somebody thought it was really funny to steal the soap dispensers. It is funny. I mean, it's fucking, this shit can be funny. But guess what? You get busted. Bye-bye.
You will not be able to thoroughly wash your hands. Please make sure you use the hand sanitizer that is inside of each of the commons areas. Please make sure that everyone listens very clearly.
Here's the thing. There's other ways to be really fucking funny, all right, other than just ripping shit off and whatever.
When we catch you, there will be consequences. Please stop this behavior now. Thank you. Have a lovely weekend.
And go fuck yourself. So these are just a few of the, I just wanted to comment on these because we're all going back to school, and I'm not going back to school, but you guys are going back to school. And when you think about this, remember what I said before, build your future, build your education, build your financial future, build your relationships. That's what you want to make somebody laugh, tell them a fucking joke or do something to yourself, or just, you can be outrageous that way. But wreaking havoc on a school's property, another person's freedom, guess what? It's going to wind up causing you way more harm than it would cause anybody to laugh. Although the peg leg was a little funny. So you're in school, stay in school, do the right thing, build. If you want to be a lawyer, be a fucking lawyer. If you want to be a doctor, be a fucking doctor. Pay attention. Do what you got to do. Make yourself a future. Be proud of yourself. You can watch these guys go down the drain. Don't go down with it. So follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. And we got a show coming up at the 7th Street entry, which is right adjacent to First Avenue here in Minneapolis. Stars of Tomorrow. And on the 28th of this month. So if you don't have one of these, you got to get one. Bruce Rivers, Criminal Lawyer Reacts. We'll see you next time. This is another cold reaction from Ewu, Explore With Us. Gotta love those guys. Neighbor from Hell. I haven't seen this, so cold reaction.
Well, up in my yard, I'm like, what's your problem? And he went to go punch my husband through the window.
I'm sorry. What was that?
pull up in my yard. I'm like, what's your problem? And he went to go punch my husband through the window.
Let me just see that one more time.
Up in my yard. I'm like, what's your problem? And he went to go punch my husband through the window.
It sounds like somebody's got a little wheezing problem. You should have that looked at.
He picks up a big that rock and he slams and throws it at the back of my car, which is all up now. And
So generally, when you're dealing with people with, you know, limited dental care, the brain is kind of in the same condition that their teeth are in.
I'm going to press charges.
Hold on, bud. Chill out. Chill out.
And then he takes a machete and throws it at him.
Why are you so angry?
Don't, Butch.
Don't.
You know that's not.
I ain't the one.
Yes, I was in fear for my life. That doesn't kill me.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is a trailer park or not. And if you live in a trailer, no aspersions cast on you, because I'm sure your trailer is, you know, nice and whatever. But here's the thing. I've had cases where neighbors are, you know, fucking going after each other. And I had this one case. Oh, you know, I get the video from the neighbor because the neighbor put up cams around my client's home, right? And so they can look back down into their yard. So she's walking around with a dildo on a stick, kind of an FU to the neighbor, and then just goes bad from there.
Florida deputies roll up on an irate couple who say they've been attacked by a senior citizen in an off-road vehicle. Law enforcement soon catches up to the foul-tempered.
And why do they always are shirtless in these videos? I mean, they're always no shirt. Dude, you are not a bodybuilder. Nobody wants to see your chest and your wheezing voice. Put a shirt on.
Bleeding perpetrator who, without his voice, struggles to tell the deputies his side of this out-of-control story.
He's always so nice. I don't know what got into him. Must have gone dark liquor. Oh, yeah, baby.
Must have got into that dark liquor. Where do you suppose this is? Denellen, Florida. It's always in Florida, right? Actually, my cousins have a place up in Denellen on the Rainbow River.
The following report is based on official police records, and the footage has never been seen before until now. Please note that all persons charged with a crime are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law.
But not in the court of public opinion, so we can say whatever the fuck we want.
On June 30th, 2025, a man in Denellen, Florida calls 911 to report that he and his wife were ambushed that afternoon by an old man he only knows by the name of Butch.
He only knows him by the name of...
I pull in my driveway. He's on a red truck wagon with a safety symbol on the back. I pull in the yard and he flicks me off, but I don't even know the guy.
So, okay, are you just calling because he flipped you off? Who fucking cares?
And next thing you know, he starts punching my window.
Okay, punch your window. Now I get it.
Picks up a big rock and smashes my back tailgate of my Volkswagen. I get out of the car after I pull my car in forward because I don't want to get smashed. Don't get me wrong, I wanted to hit him so bad, and I did.
You said this guy named Butch?
Yes.
Is in a red wagon?
Well, like a four-wheel, side-by-side. A four-wheel side-by-side.
Anthony says Butch hurled a machete and a pipe at him before leaving the scene.
Oh, swear to God.
Where are the weapons now?
I'm standing right here near it, and I'm protecting this weapon because I want his old ass in jail. I did my time in prison for my wrongs.
Gee, why is that not surprising?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, and I'm here for your viewing pleasure. I'm your board-certified criminal defense lawyer. And what does it mean to be board certified? You hear that all the time. I'm board certified. What does it mean? It means, in this case, I've taken 2 exams. I've been recommended by 4 lawyers, 4 prosecutors, 4 judges. Then they go back into my background and cases that I've tried with other judges and see what I'm really like with people that I didn't put down for a reference. And then I give a writing sample, and so I've been board certified for quite a long time. It just means that I've been through the rigors. I've had a lot of experience, and so I know what I'm doing in the area of criminal defense. I'm board certified by the National Board of Trial Advocacy and by the Minnesota State Bar Association as a criminal law and criminal trial specialist. I specialize, so I don't do wills and trusts. And I don't really like DWIs. I do a lot of I do some DUIs, but they're boring because it's like, yeah, I was drinking, yeah, I was weaving, yeah, I got pulled over, blah, blah, blah. And, there's nothing like a good homicide between friends, is what I say. It's a story. You can sink your teeth into it. This, like all of our episodes, is brought to you by AskALawyer.com. AskALawyer.com is a very effective way for you to get legal advice from a living, breathing human being who happens to be a lawyer. Yes, we have hearts. And so if you have a case you think you might want to bring against somebody, or somebody's bringing a case against you, go to AskALawyer.com. For $49, you get to talk to a living, breathing lawyer. And they also have an AI component that is trained in all the 50 states. So if you're doing your own legal research, what an incredible resource for like next to nothing.
And this is not about to do this to me, and me not do nothing, and him stay out. No. Mm-mm.
With Marion
No.
County Sheriff's deputies on the way, the dispatcher gets a concise description of the perpetrator.
White, tall, slim, male.
He's missing a boob. He had some kind of surgery. He's missing a titty.
Old as gray hair, drunk. His first name is Butch. I don't know his last name.
Anthony is still riled up from the incident when a deputy calls him back.
I wanted to his ass up, but I didn't want to press charges on his ass. Old I did so much time in prison, he even trying to throw a goddamn...
He did some time in prison too? Gee, I can't imagine that these guys would be fun neighbors to have.
Not that he tried to cut me up.
He ain't the real skinny old dude that rides around that older...
Yeah.
Older...
Big truck wagon.
I know where it's at.
Mother... Old mother... I said, I want to see you. Soon as I said I'm going to call on your ass down instead of beating your ass up.
Reason number 87 as to why not to be a cop, because you have to deal with fuckheads like this.
He's got in this truck wagon and bring off down the road. Gotcha. Oh, mother... I want to his ass up.
I want to fuck his ass up. Well, why don't you? Why call the cops? Why don't we go to Spanish Moss Justice here in Dunellen, Florida?
When the deputies pull up to the house, Anthony's wife Amy takes control of the story.
He was sitting here in the yard. We drove by. He flicked us off. My husband said he was flicking me off. I said, no, he just waved because I know he's a drunk old man, okay? And then, so we turn around and pull back up in the yard, and he does it again. He flicks us off.
This is where we're on the highway now.
So then I put down the window and was like, what's your problem? Then he...
Shut up.
What's your problem? Then he tries to punch my window out.
So where? Well, hold on.
He was here right there.
So he's in the driveway, right there. Park
right
there. Y'all pulled up and said, hey, what's the deal?
I pulled up in my yard. I'm like, what's your problem? And he went to go punch my husband through the window. We go through the yard. He picks up a big that rock, and he slammed and throws it at the back of my car, which is all up now. And I'm going to press charges. He's going to pay what he did. And that's all there is to it.
The couple reminds the deputy that this initial attack was only the beginning.
Is it me, or do these seem like a mismatched couple? She seems like she's probably 10 plus years older than he is, but they probably met on some prison matchmaking site.
And my husband's like, yelling at him, screaming at him, like, drunk, whatever, because, he's pissed now. I'm trying to get him not to hit the guy because he's Italian. He's just, just losing his temper. Because you don't know what he's there for. But I got a key. He stayed in the yard. Then he throws a metal pole at him. I thought he was just say hi. He throws a metal pole at him, and they're just having words. He can't talk, so obviously he ain't having words. You know what I mean? The other guy. And then he takes the machete and throws it at him. What's it still saying right there in the yard?
Where'd he get a machete from?
Out of his
little
real truck wagon. Oh, piece of
Anthony, calm down. That's what I mean. You see what I mean?
Oh, Anthony, relax. I got it. Come on, I got it.
But no, my car's ruined now, and for no reason, because the old wants to get drunk and come over here starting with people.
He's always so nice. I don't know what got into him. Must have gone on dark liquor. Oh, yeah.
Must have got on dark liquor.
Yeah, baby. Whiskey.
Whatever led to the incident, it clearly left its mark on Anthony and Amy's Volkswagen.
And then this is what happened with the rock.
Ooh,
He
yeah.
got it right there.
Which is a felony because that's going to be more than $500, right? You know, when you have these neighbor disputes, God, the neighbors can just wind up hating each other. I had a client who, the same one with the dildo, she, you know, they were going, neighbors on this side, neighbors on this side. They are throwing like dead squirrels and shit in their yard. You know, just a constant harassment on both sides.
No, I ain't having it.
Like that, and I'm not going back.
I'm not having it.
Where'd you go to prison at?
Jackson, HCI, all of them up in the Panhandle.
How much is it gonna cost to fix that tailgate on the trunk?
I'm gonna say about 5. I don't know, 1,000 maybe.
Question, before you go, which seat were you seated?
I was in passenger.
Okay, passenger seat. Did he come through the window and touch?
Hell yeah, he came through the window and tried to hit me.
Did he actually? Did you have to block it?
Yes.
So he made contact with you?
Yes, but it like grazed me. It like barely, I mean, anything. I tried
So
my wife,
he tried to
put
put.
the window up, yes.
So
Put
it
up. And
grazed
that's when
your
he
arm?
Came at it again. He hit hard as he couldn't bust a fucking window. But yes, hell yeah. And that's when she rushed the yard and he picked the rock and hit the fucking back of the trunk.
The deputies turned to the couple's roommate Betty for her eyewitness account. She says she was having a friendly interaction with Butch as Amy and Anthony pulled up.
I thought Butch was going to say hi to him. He went like this, and I always had my back, you know. I just turned back around when I heard bam on the window. Butch got in his little buggy and threw the machete when he just fell off of his ass. He's so drunk he couldn't even stand up. He
he's built about like that machete.
He crawled to that
You
big
know
post
him.
over there.
Yeah, I know
That
who you're
big
talking about.
pipe being thrown, machetes being thrown. For no reason. I didn't see no reason whatsoever.
When he threw the machete in that post, were you in fear that it was going to hit you?
Yes, I was in fear for my life that was going to kill me.
Little baby girl. Little girl, I would have that up.
The deputies soon began collecting the weapons Butch is accused of launching into the yard.
That's the end of my day.
So when do I get my report?
God, they just look so fucking rough, don't they? They just look, I mean, they don't look like they've had a good night's sleep in a long time.
He's so drunk he couldn't even stand up. He
he's
crawled to
built
that post.
about like that machete.
He crawled to that
You
big
know
post
him.
over there.
Yeah, I know
That
who you're
big
talking about.
pipe being thrown, machetes being thrown. For no reason. I didn't see no reason whatsoever.
When he threw the machete in that post, were you in fear that it was going to hit you?
Yes, I was in fear for my life that was going to kill me.
Little baby girl. Little girl, I would have that up.
The deputies soon began collecting the weapons Butch is accused of launching into the yard.
That's the end of my day.
So when do I get my report? How do I get my report?
I'm writing a report right now.
All right. I just need to know for. Let's go. I just need to know for
Is that their home? You know, I'm all for, you know, equal rights and, you know, not judging somebody because of poverty. But just because you don't have money doesn't mean you have to be a pig or live like a pig.
for the insurance. You know what I mean?
Yep. It's a heavy pipe.
Hell yeah.
I think it's from a jack.
The only thing left to do is to go see Butch and hear his account of the attack, a task that won't be quite as easy as it seems.
Let's go talk to one boob Butch.
I bet he is drunker than Cooter Brown right now.
This is such a violence call. Oh, 1,000%. The fact that it's happening in daylight is crazy.
Let's go. Says I've been to prison. He's been in prison once for grand theft.
The deputies drive to a residence a mile away where they find their bleeding suspect.
Mr. Butch, how are we? 6569. Kev Medics 51. Subject has cuts on his legs. What happened? What happened? What happened to your leg? Hello.
Hi. My mother-in-law's house. I live next door.
Perfect. Does he have a voice box?
Do I?
Does he?
Yes, he does.
Okay. Does he know? Does he have it?
You have your talker? We go get it real quick?
Go ahead.
The search proves unsuccessful, though, and the lack of an effective communication tool sours Butch's mood.
Hold on, bud. Chill out. Chill out for a second. Sean's coming right now.
Will you stop your wheezing? Just stop your wheezing right now.
Yeah. I'm not saying nothing bad for you.
God, it just has to be frustrating to deal with, honestly.
Why are you so angry?
Don't, Butch.
Don't.
You know that's not
I ain't the one.
Don't. Please don't. I'm begging. Please. I see. I know. What happened? Did something happen somewhere? Where at? What happened?
At Betty's? Okay.
What happened? Where did a lot?
Even with the help of someone close to Butch, the story doesn't become much clearer.
What happened? Was it Betty? She was talking. Who was it? Do you know their name? Oh, I don't know who that is. Who called?
The Mustachis, Amy, and they live at Betty Townsend's.
Okay.
They said they don't know him.
Is he okay to? Is he gonna get arrested or is he
I don't know.
charges or?
I don't know yet.
Hey,
you need to relax.
No.
You need to relax.
He's been having dreams. He's been having dreams about going to jail.
He's been drinking too much is what the main issue. How much have you had to drink today? Beer, liquor?
He'll show you. Yeah, he'll show you what he's drinking.
He's definitely been drinking. I can smell it.
Yeah, no, I can tell by the way he's acting.
Butch doesn't reveal what, if anything, he's been sipping on today, and he appears eager to get this interaction over with.
I'm not going to handcuff you behind your back. That's not going to happen. Well, you need to relax for right now.
You gotta get you cleaned up.
I want to get your leg cleaned up before we go
You
anywhere.
want to hit the hose? You want me to hit you with the hose? Or
You want to just have him sit in the car until Mexico?
Do you want to go sit in my car? You have like a... Are you sure your voice box ain't right there? Or is that cigarettes? That's cigarettes.
Yeah.
Okay, my guess is this guy's probably had a lung removed and maybe had some cancer or something like that. And God forbid he should quit smoking.
All right. You want me to get this to him?
Yeah, you can't go into jail with him. You ain't in trouble for throwing the brick at the car and the machete. I know you don't care, but there's consequences for that. What did they do? That doesn't give you the right to.
They might
hurt
be,
the car.
but it's not a reason to do what you did. You don't even know him.
The man's relationship to Butch isn't specified, but he has a possible explanation for the day's events.
Has he ever been in trouble before? I didn't think so.
He gets a little crazy when he's drinking and he's on like some steroid, like prednisone.
You ever been on prednisone? Prednisone can actually turn a normal person into a complete dick.
For physical pain or for what?
Just for like his wounds and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And then so like when he's on it for long periods, he gets like, void rage. He loses his temper sometimes, and alcohol doesn't help.
No. I'm sure it says on the pill.
And alcohol is probably on the bottle saying, don't mix.
It says on the pill bottle, do not consume with alcohol.
Yeah.
Medics pull up to examine Butch's cuts.
And the problem with that is that if you're not, there can be a thing called involuntary intoxication. In other words, you're acting in a way that you normally wouldn't, and you don't have control of yourself because of whatever you're taking, whatever. But when you take it in conjunction with something else contraindicated, like alcohol and prednisone, it vitiates, or not vitiates, but it gets rid of that defense.
Just as an important discovery is made.
Awesome.
Back of the drawer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah.
There we are. Look at that.
No?
Doesn't work?
Bad? I'll leave it here.
Bad?
Plaque. You mean plaque cleared?
Black.
Oh, the black
The black
box
is what you're looking
You
for?
lost it over Betty's. I'll go over there and smooth it out and I'll find it.
We'll find
You
it.
lost it when you fell out of your thing. You had it with you earlier, and now it's gone. I'll go find it. I'll go get it. No.
Don't say that.
No.
Get in there, bro.
You been in a bad car accident or something before?
Him?
Yeah. I saw his chest.
Oh, yeah, he had that's a trach for his tracheotomy.
Where all this?
They took a piece of that to a tendon to reconstruct his the flap.
Was it throat cancer as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is he still smoking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took the pack of cigarettes out.
Yeah. His dad died from throat cancer. He smoked right through the tree.
Butch is never quite able to convey his side of the story, and after being taken for medical attention, the only thing left for him will be jail.
If there's anyone I never thought I would arrest, it's probably this guy.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It was just weird what he was talking to me earlier today about he having dreams about getting arrested, and now he goes to do this, like almost like trying to fulfill the dream.
If it's probably the prednisone, I mean, this guy's normally a peaceful guy. What'll probably happen is they'll come to some abbreviated sentence.
For 71-year-old Butch, a.k.a. Edwin Watts, the dream came true in the form of 3 felony charges: burglary of a conveyance, criminal mischief causing more than $1,000 in damage, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
So burglary of a conveyance. You ever hear what a conveyance is? That's a car. That's the weakest of the charge. Criminal mischief, more than $1,000 damage. That's the, throwing of the rock on the window. And an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That's throwing your machete at the other guy. But my guess is you could negotiate this down to a misdemeanor. It's neighbors, just being...
Butch has pled not guilty to the charges and is currently awaiting trial while out on bond.
So, poor Butch can't really communicate what his deal is. But I'll tell you this. It's got to be frustrating for a guy like that because he's been through hell with his throat cancer and then they put you on medication, and the medication can really wreak havoc with your mood, with your behavior, and that's a real thing. My office partner, Joe, God rest his soul, he just passed away a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. He was on prednisone and he turned into a prick and told the judge to fuck off. I mean, he never in a million years would have done that but for the prednisone. But fucking hell, if you're on prednisone, don't be drinking. And if you've had your voice box removed because you've had throat cancer, you shouldn't be smoking, Butch. Well, hopefully the neighbors patch it up and they become loving with each other. Because I'm a lover, not a fighter. So let's just wish Butch well, okay? So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Make sure you go to clrbrucerivers.com for all your merch needs. Nick is just this close to getting a tiny house. His cardboard box has really outlived its usefulness. So go to clrbrucerivers.com. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer. I don't even know what to say. So, personally, I think this attack on the judge is misplaced. Oh, you let him out in January. It's September. She can't hold somebody on a misdemeanor like that forever. So, I mean, but those are grandstanding politicians that have nothing better to do than, let's sign a petition, That shows that I'm doing something. We'll continue to follow this, but the first thing the lawyer is going to do is ask for a mental health exam, and it's called a Rule 20, and see how that goes. The Rule 20 and 21. 20 is whether you're competent to stand trial, and a 21 is whether you knew right from wrong during the offense, like whether you were acting, with a sound mind during the offense. So it's just tragic all the way around. Pretty girl, lovely day. Oh, I'm just going to go on the train and go home now. My shift is over and I'll just look at my phone. Let me tell you something. Don't look at your phone. You don't even have your earbuds in. Because guess what? If you have your earbuds in, you're not paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, what are you? You're a target. If you're a target, you're at risk. So I hate to say that, but that's the world we live in.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode. I'm having an episode. Well, let's start over. Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board-certified criminal defense lawyer, coming to you with my, let's see, what do I got on today? I got my Irish cufflinks on today. It's so graciously given to me by my fiance, Clodagh. Today we're reacting to the man who stabbed the Ukrainian woman on a train in North Carolina. I still just can't, this random act of violence stuff just absolutely fucking floors me. It can come from a bunch of different places. 99 times out of 100, it comes from mental illness. Rarely does it come from, unless it's like domestic, But we're going to react to it. There's stuff we're going to talk about. But before we get to that, this is brought to you by AskALawyer.com. AskALawyer.com is an effective way to get online and talk to a real live lawyer for $49. Where are you going to get that? Nowhere. If this guy would have done this straight away, he would have counseled him. I suggest you don't stab the woman. And then he would have avoided consequences completely. Let's say somebody's coming after you for something, or you're facing a legal situation where you're in jeopardy. Go to AskALawyer.com and they can help you kind of navigate the waters a little bit and get you to the next step. If you're doing your own legal research, they have an AI component, and that is just an amazing situation because that's trained in all 50 states. So you got everything all in one place. So whether you're being sued or whether somebody's coming after you for something or you need to go after somebody, go to AskALawyer.com and defend yourself for a reasonable fee. And they do have hearts. These lawyers online, you'd be surprised. I didn't think we had hearts, but lawyers sometimes do have a heart. So go to AskALawyer.com. My grandma does, so you should too. And they're the same people that bring you e-forms and e-sign, so you know they're a reputable outfit. Okay, before we get into this train killer, which is just, it's like that thing that happened at Annunciation Church, just on my block. Somebody goes in and shoots up a school or church for no other reason than cruelty and cruelty itself. But before we get to this reaction, let's answer some, or just look at some comments. 95 Mud Shovel. Mud Shovel. My LSAT prep materials are arriving today. Can you do a video about what law school is like? I feel as though you'd actually be honest and realistic about it. Well, let me tell you about law school. First of all, I took the LSAT 3 times. The first time I got it, I took a prep course and got a really low score. I was terrible at tests. Second time, I took a cold, got the exact same really low score. I decided the third time, I just took a whole bunch of practice exams for like 2 months. I took a practice exam every day for 2 months, and then I got a really high score the third time. And then I got into law school. But law school itself, I loved it. I hated college. I didn't hate college. I loved college, but I hated the coursework. I had no direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I got a business degree. Didn't do well in college. I did well in law school because I liked it. So the old adage is the first year they scare you to death, second year they work you to death, and third year they bore you to death. I never got any of that. I loved it all. I loved every year I had in law school. So just take it all in. Figure out what you want to do with your life and go after it. So this is from Thomas H. I'm curious if having a YouTube channel affects your ability to choose a jury. If they are aware of you, are they allowed to serve on the jury? Another fantastic episode. Thank you for reminding me to have another conversation with my child. It's sad that as a father, I have to constantly talk to my child about sadistic behavior. Makes me sick. I can't raise my child in a sweet and innocent way without having to know about these topics. We live in a different era, my friend. We absolutely do. People have access to us that they didn't have just by virtue of the internet. The information trail that we leave all over the place is ripe for hackers and for other people to misuse and abuse. So I'm sorry that you had to have that chat with your son or your daughter, but you're just going to have to. I mean, you just got to protect these kids. Doesn't mean you can't be frivolous and have some fun, but you got to protect your kids. As far as juror, I don't think I've only been recognized once or twice by prospective jurors. But I'll tell you this: I go to foreign countries, and first time I met Mike Lowe, I was walking down Grafton Street in Ireland, and this guy says, "Hey, Bruce, follow you on YouTube." It happens everywhere. All right, a couple more. Pix Dust. Hi, Bruce. We all know that everyone deserves their day in court. Innocent until proven guilty. Please make a video about how a defense attorney can sleep at night defending people like this. How do you decide which cases you'll take? Well, if they pay me, I take it. It's as simple as that. Not really. Have you ever declined a case? Of course. How was it different when you first began your career through the present day? I'm genuinely curious. I couldn't do your job. I think I speak for a lot of us. We want to hear your story and not just reactions. How do you do what you do? Thank you. Well, here's the thing. I didn't set out to become a lawyer at all. My father was arrested and convicted in the early 90s of Medicare and Medicaid fraud. He was owned an ambulance company. He had lawyers that were just shit. Okay, just absolute shit. They saw how much money he had, and they took it. And one of them never even tried a criminal case at that point. And now, knowing what I know other lawyers that he could have hired at the time and done for the same money, if not less money, and gotten a much better result. It was out of that situation that I decided. I mean, and then on the day he was supposed to report to prison, he tried to shoot himself, and my brother-in-law and I and my brother, we all tackled him and took the gun away from him, and thank God we did, because he wound up going to prison. He got out and was able to be a grandfather and cared for my mother when she got sick, and they stayed together, and it was an ordeal, that he didn't really need to go through. And it's a long story on that case, but that's how I became a lawyer to begin with. And how do I do what I do? It's not my job to put somebody in prison. It's the government's job. And if they can't do it, what did Thomas Jefferson say? Better to let 10 go free than one innocent go to jail. So that's how I can do what I do. So when I sit there and I win a murder case, it's like freeing my father all over again. Don't get me started. All right, one more. Bruce, have you been in a fight? What the fuck? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? You think I've been in a fight? No, I'm actually a pacifist. I'm a pussy. I don't like to fight. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I think I was in a fight in high school, but I really wasn't in a fight because I got sucker punched because they thought that I snitched on them. People spray painted the school and they thought I was the one that snitched on them, and I didn't. So I got punched in the nose, but I've not been in a fight. I don't think. Have I been in another fight? I don't think so. I don't fight. I'm a lover, not a fighter. You shouldn't fight. You should avoid fights. People that fight come to see me. They unleash their money to me. So I go to court for them. And then they go to jail sometimes because they fucked up. So don't fight. Be a lover. So much more fun to kiss somebody than to punch somebody, don't you think? All right. That's that. North Carolina Republicans pushed to fire judge who released... Did they release him?
At one point, he was not...
They released him on another case.
Yes.
Let's watch the video of this train. I just can't believe this. This woman was just so vulnerable.
Phones as they ride along. The man accused in the killing, DeCarlos Brown, is in the red hoodies on the right side of your screen. He appears to be maybe a little emotional, perhaps a little agitated, but nothing disruptive. There's nothing that gets anyone's attention. About 30 seconds later, Irina Zarutska boards. She's wearing a hat and a t-shirt from a pizzeria, and she sits in the row in front of Brown. She has earbuds in and is looking at her phone.
She likely never knew what the fuck hit her. So, to that end, her death was probably pretty cool.
She too's just minding her own business. They ride along for around 4 minutes with nothing unusual happening. Then around 9:50 p.m., Brown reaches into a pocket. We've zoomed in on it here. He pulls out a pocket knife. No one notices a thing. Seconds later, he would stand up and from...
Unsuspecting, vulnerable victim. Unbelievable.
Stand up and from behind, unprovoked, as we stop the video, he would stab the young woman several times. She had no chance to defend herself. The attack was over in seconds, and when it was over, Brown walked through the train attempting to get off. Few passengers, if any, at first realized what had happened, until they noticed drops of blood on the floor. 90 seconds after the attack, a bystander rushes down to begin lending aid to Zarutska. She would die from her injuries. 30 seconds later, 9:52 p.m., 6 minutes into the video, Brown leaves the light rail. The video here shows...
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now let's talk a little bit about who this Brown character was. This is a situation where an American kills an immigrant. Do we have Trump talking about that too much? This Mr. Brown, his sister apparently says he's a schizophrenic. And as a schizophrenic, you don't really know what's right from wrong, honestly. I have a case kind of similar to this where my client thought this person was evil and thought they were the devil, and he ran him down and killed him, thinking that he was going to kill all the world, you know. That person was found incompetent to stand trial. And so if you're found incompetent, what do? Do they just go free? No, they don't go free. What happens is they're committed civilly, and until they get restored to competency. He's been in jail or not in jail, but in a lockup ward for like 3 years. So this guy's not going to see the light of day anytime soon. That you can be rest assured. So Brown apparently had 14 arrests and was released by the magistrate in January, ranging from assault on his sister to armed robbery. In 2014, he was sentenced to 5 years behind bars for armed robbery. Brown was last arrested in January of this year for misuse of the 911 system. You know, and so all the Republican lawmakers are now calling for this magistrate's head and saying, you know, she needs to be fired or whatever. But I mean, misuse of the 911 system, you're going to hold somebody on that? Nobody's going to get help on that. I'm sorry. During the encounter, Brown, diagnosed with schizophrenia, told officers that he believed that there were man-made materials inside his body controlling his eating, walking, and talking. He was charged with a misdemeanor, and that is when Stokes granted his release. This tragedy was preventable. There must be accountability. Bullshit. You know, that I don't like politicians sometimes. Yeah, it's absolutely tragic what happened, but you can't hang this almost a year later on the judge that released him from that case. It was a misdemeanor, for Christ's sake. Even if he pled guilty and did all the time, he'd probably be out already anyway. So this decision was made despite Brown's extensive criminal history, which includes at least 14 prior arrests for serious offenses such as possession of a firearm by a felon, robbery with a dangerous weapon, physical assault on his sister. In 2014, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for a robbery and a dangerous firearm. The January charge, a Class 1 misdemeanor, arose after Brown became combative with police officers. Yet, despite his history of violent and unstable behavior, Magistrate Stokes released Brown without requiring bond or imposing any meaningful. What are you going to do on a situation like that? By releasing a repeat offender on nothing more than his own written promise to appear, Magistrate Stokes displayed a willful failure to perform. Bullshit she did. I'm sorry. You know, it's a misdemeanor. You can't hold somebody on slight charges like that. You know, misuse of a 911 call. So what? It's not related to this. This guy was eventually going to get out and probably do this to somebody. So you look at, you know, I don't know how to even process some of this shit. You know, I mean, he's been to prison. So at some point he was found competent. But has he decompensated now so badly that he doesn't know right from wrong and that he thinks she was evil and thinking about him and controlling his thoughts? And that, if that's the case, guess where he's going? He's not going to go to, you know, Club Fed. He's going to go to prison. And he's going to go to or a prison hospital or a locked psychological ward. Where was John Hinckley Jr. for 30 years? You know, he didn't kill the president, but he tried to. He was in a mental hospital for a long, long time until he was released. You know, I mean, this guy's never going to see the light of day no matter what happens. A senseless killing like this is hard to explain because there was absolutely no reason for anybody to do something like this, right? A pretty young girl, probably just get off of work because she's got her pizza stuff on, you know, and here she is with her earbuds in. And what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Get on a fucking train? Guess what you're going to do? I guess what you're going to do. If you ever get on a train, you're going to look around. And here she is, just her head's in her phone. You know, I know a lawyer who was a little bit nuts, and she had her earbuds in and doing just what she's doing. And she walked right in front of a fucking train and got run over. Although, you know, a knife is so lethal. You know, you can close the distance very quickly with a knife, and you know, you don't have to do much damage to bleed out. My heart goes out to her and her family, and but also to this guy's family too. I mean, he's been a fucking disaster for his family to deal with, don't you think? I mean, every time he turns around, he's back in jail. Every time he turns around, he's saying stupid shit. He's fighting with his sister. He's doing this. He's doing that. I guarantee you it's a phone call after phone call with them trying to figure out, how do we manage his behavior. What strikes me is that the if he really is a true paranoid schizophrenic, he doesn't know right from wrong. He's acting not of his own volition, but of the control that the voices or whatever has over his body. And I know a lot of people will think that's a bunch of bullshit, but it's not. It absolutely isn't. But does that mean that he's out there walking around? No, it doesn't. It means he goes to the funny farm and gets treatment and he's going to be labeled mentally ill and dangerous if he can't be found competent to stand trial. Even if he's found guilty by not guilty by reason of a mental illness, they don't just walk free. They get civilly committed, and they don't get out right away. They're going to be there for the long haul. But guess what happens when they get out? They take their meds for a while, then they don't take their meds, and it's just a constant cycle of in and out, in and out, in and out. But when you have a situation like this with a homicide, they're going to say he knew what he was doing, that he was of sound mind and blah blah blah, which probably isn't the case. Why would you do this? We see so much in the criminal world, everything from mercy killing. Like we had a client who killed his wife, because she was ill and she was about to die anyway, and a husband killing his wife, just to end her suffering. That's one kind of killing. This is a completely different set of circumstances. We had another client, not a client, but a situation here. Guy was $100 million in debt. Wife was declining. He was declining. Murder, suicide. That's a normal thing. Not normal, but that's something people do. It's common that kind of thing happens. This is not common. Just out of the fucking blue. Look at this. I mean, he's right above her, stabbing her without any regard. And then he walks away as though, see how calm he was when he was walking away? I don't even know what to say. So, personally, I think this attack on the judge is misplaced. Oh, you let him out in January. It's fucking September. She can't hold somebody on a misdemeanor like that forever. So, I mean, but those are grandstanding politicians that have nothing better to do than, let's sign a petition, That shows that I'm doing something. We'll continue to follow this, but the first thing the lawyer is going to do is ask for a mental health exam, and it's called a Rule 20, and see how that goes. The Rule 20 and 21. 20 is whether you're competent to stand trial, and a 21 is whether you knew right from wrong during the offense, like whether you were acting, with sound mind during the offense. So it's just tragic all the way around. Pretty girl, lovely day. Oh, I'm just going to go on the train and go home now. My shift is over, and I'll just look at my phone. Let me tell you something. Don't look at your fucking phone. You don't even have your earbuds in. Because guess what? If you have your earbuds in, you're not paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, what are you? You're a fucking target. If you're a target, you're at risk. So I hate to say that, but that's the world we live in. Keep your eyes and ears open. And you know what? Sit next to somebody that you think is, if you're a woman, sit next to a guy that looks kind of beefy that could protect you if need be. Because they'll do it. There are guys out there that will protect you. Not everybody is like this son of a bitch. So we'll see you next time here in Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Go to clrbrucerivers.com. We need to get Nick out of his box. He's living in, it's a really nice, it was used to be a refrigerator box, but, he was homeless. Now he's in a refrigerator box. We got to get him into at least a studio apartment. He was living in his car. I'm joking about, of course. So, but go to clrbrucerivers.com for your merch needs. Sign up for Patreon. Go to Facebook. We're doing some good work there. And, follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. It's called X now, I guess. And subscribe. See you next time here on Criminal Lawyer.